Hi guys, so this is a video about adequate clearance from parked cars as we're driving. So not so much about bikes in this video because there wasn't any bikes on the road at the time, but with bikes 1.5 to stay alive, 1.5 meters, right, in a standard sort of slower moving area like a town and stuff. And if you're going faster outside of town, then you need to give a bike 2 meters. But this video is more about cars, you know, how much space to leave a parked car. So if it's just a basic generic parked car on the left, then you're going to want to leave around about a meter from the car. The reason being is because if the door opens, it's around about a meter, right? So if you can give a meter of space from a parked car, it's a safe distance to leave, right? So you go past it at a safe speed and a safe distance. So you can be closer to a parked car than a meter, but less space, less speed. So if you do need to be closer to the parked car for any reason, then we do need to really severely slow down for that so that our judgment is good, and then we can stop in the distance that we see to be clear. So if we're driving down the road and then the door opens and we're going lovely and slow, hopefully shouldn't matter as much because we're going slow. It shocked us. We can stop more safely than if we were going quickly. It is a big reason why people fail their driving tests. And the statement that the examiner normally says is we went past the cars too closely at speed. That's the statement, because you can be close to cars within reason, closer than a meter if you're slower. All right. So that's the first thing, around about a meter away from the parked cars. And if there's moving people coming towards you and you need to be a bit closer, less space, less speed. Or if you're on a very narrow road with parked cars on both sides, again, less space, less speed. Also, when there's parked cars around, you may have to give way to oncoming people. So if that's the case, we want to be stopping about 2 car lengths before the parked car. So we're quite far away from the parked car to give way to oncoming people. In this position, we also don't want to look like we're parked if we can help it, because if we look like we're parked, people are just going to overtake us, especially if we're a learner, because everybody's desperate to get past us, right? So if possible, stuck out a little bit. Yeah, make sure that people can get past you, but also maybe 2 car lengths before the parked car so you can get out really easily. If you are going to need to be closer than that because there just isn't the space for it, 1 car length away, hopefully. Now again, in that same breath, I do realise that you can be closer than that, but if you don't have to be, don't be. Because if you wedge yourself up right behind a parked car to give way to oncoming people, it's just so hard to get out, guys. It's just so hard to get out. If you've got parked cars on your side and there's oncoming people coming towards you, yes, it's their priority, but they don't care that you've got the car in the way or the bin that's blown out into the road. That happened to me today, actually, recycle bin in the road. They don't care, whatever it is. They don't care what you're stuck behind. Now, they couldn't care less whether you're 2 car lengths away from the car decently, or a car length away from it, or a Rizla paper away from it. The oncoming person doesn't care. They just care about their priority coming through. All right. You need to be kind to other people if it's their priority, but you also need to be kind to yourself. You must set up where you pull in and give way to be kind to yourself. Remember yourself. You're the person who's got to get out of that situation in a minute. So leave that healthy space. There is examples in this video about that. The other thing that we need to talk about is cars. When you're overtaking a lot of parked cars on the left, like a succession of cars, maybe 12, let's say, maybe 6 of them are parked uniform together the same. But then you've got the 7th car, or later on down the line, you've got one that's like a Land Rover or a way bigger car, or somebody who's left their wheels out, or somebody who's just parked badly and they're stuck out. You're needing to give the adequate clearance, the meter, or if it can't be that, a lot slower. But when you get to this car, which is actually jutting out, even though you've overtaken 6 or however many cars already, This car that sticks out may make you stop. Because oncoming people have priority. They don't care what's in your way. The door might just open of the car. There may be a pedestrian gets out. The oncoming person doesn't care that the door is opened. The hazard is on your side. So if the car sticks out a bit, we need to stop perhaps, because there's not enough space to give way to the oncoming people. Over the years, I've had students driving past all the 6 cars. They see that the 7th one is sticking out and they try to overtake that when someone's coming. We don't have priority. Even if that car sticks out just a 1/4 of a metre more, that may mean that we need to stop. Yeah, because we haven't got the space anymore to give way. So hold on to the statement. If you don't know, don't go. If I come up to a situation where there's parked cars everywhere and I say to my student, can we fit through the gap? If my student says, they can't fit through the gap. Means no. It certainly means that you can't make a clear decision about the situation. So it's highly likely that you can't fit. If you don't know, don't go. Slow down. If you don't know, the person behind doesn't know either. Don't go up to these situations quickly, guys. The person behind you is going to follow you with the same amount of confidence that you have. If you're driving quickly, the person behind is going to be like, oh, this person's got it. This person knows what they're doing. I'm going to follow them with the same amount of confidence that they have. And then if you suddenly decide at the last second that you can't fit and you put on your brakes, we're going to have a car straight in the back of us because they were following you. You were painting the picture that you could fit through the gap and they were like, oh, this person clearly knows that they can fit through the gap. I'm just going to follow them. And then you can't, and then you whack your brakes on. Yeah, if you don't know, don't go. Yeah, who cares if you stop, right? Honestly, if it's a squeeze, yeah, just like a hug, if a proper squeeze is given to you, and I mean a squeeze, it's not very nice. All your bones crunch, right? You don't want to be going through little squeezy gaps. It's not pleasant. Not pleasant for anyone. Not pleasant for the person who sat in their car reading a book, going, "Ooh, what's this learner doing? Hope my mirror's going to be all right." Not pleasant for the oncoming person. Oh, this is really small. Not pleasant for you. Oh, am I going to make it? Not pleasant. If it's a squeeze, don't do it, guys. It's just not worth it. Stop. Let the person come through. Let them thank you. Receive the thank you. Check your mirrors. Drive on when you've got more space. Right? Only go through if the gap is healthy and you can go through with relatively decent speed, like not like a kind of crawly, like snaily in a situation where that just doesn't need to happen. I appreciate that in life there is times like that, but on your test, can't really think about it off the top of my head if that would happen unless there was some kind of like massive traffic jam going on. It's unlikely, right, on your driving test. If you don't know, don't go. Leave a healthy gap from the people. Leave, if you can, a open door length, a metre from the cars. If you can't give that, go a lot slower. If you don't know, don't go. Hope this helped, guys. Hope this helps, guys. Here's a moving video of some driving that I recently did. All right, guys, take care. Okay, guys, so on this road, I'm giving adequate clearance to the cars on the left, at least 1 metre, because I can. There's no one here. I don't have to, I'm not fighting for the space. So these cars can open their door and it wouldn't really matter very much, right? So that was a relatively easy road. Now down here, I'm going to keep more to the left because as I keep more to the left, if somebody was oncoming, there might be a possibility if I keep to the left that oncoming people can fit through the gap, especially if they have a small car. So if I keep to the left, that could be helpful. If not, if they have a big car, then they need to stop for me because it's my priority. There's no hazard on my side of the road. Now, as we continue to go down this road, on this road, it's the other person's priority. So I still need to give the open door 1 metre from the parked car, but I also need to look for gaps. And if I need to give way to oncoming people, I need to be very careful with how close I get to the parked car that I stopped before. So I want to leave about 2 car lengths of space here. Absolute minimum, really 1 car length away, because any closer than that, it gets really, really difficult to pull out. So if you can leave a lot of space up to 2 car lengths, then that would be cool, because then when you pull out of the situation, you're never going to be too close to the parked car. That is a high failable place. Lots of students fail for getting too close to the parked car that they stopped in front of to give way to the oncoming people. So here, this is a classic. People will fail for getting too close to the Royal Mail van here because they get too close to the van in the first place when they stop. So leave as much space as you can. 2 car lengths would be great. If you can't leave that much, try and make it a car length at minimum. Obviously, I do realise you can be closer than that, but it really does become such a mission, right? To get out of that, really like loads of steering and lots and lots of clutch control, which can be like way more difficult than it needs to be. As you can see here, I'm just keeping to the left with the same sort of purpose as before. If there's a small car coming, they may be able to fit. If not, then they have to give way to me because it was my priority down the road. So as we go down further onto this road, it's going to be my priority again. There's going to be parked cars all over the right side of the road. So again, just as before, I'm attempting to keep to the left to help oncoming people fit through the gap. And that's just helpful. So even though it's my priority, I am being conscious about my spacing. If I am going to be close to people who are oncoming, I need to have less speed, less space, less speed. It's very important that I go slower. So in a minute, I'm going to be turning onto a really, really tricky road here with parked cars on the left and the right. And because I can't give the meter on both sides, this is a one-way street that I'm going into to begin with. So here we are. As you can see, so down here, less space, less speed. I need to go a lot slower here because I need to be able to stop in the distance that I see to be clear. So if a pedestrian was to pop out or if somebody opens the door of the car, I need to be able to stop safely so, you know, I don't damage anything. So less space, less speed in these situations. So lots of students will say to me, what's the speed limit here? And I'll be like, it's 30. But there's just no way you're going to be doing 30 in these situations. 30 is the maximum speed limit that you can go. But because this is a highly hazardous place, we need to do less speed because of less space. Yeah. So the speed limit really is just up to the driver to choose the safest possible speed for the conditions of the road. So here I'm going to try and leave lots of gap from the red car, and then it's really, really easy for me to pull out. See that? I'm just never too close to these cars because I'm thinking about where to stop and I'm thinking about my next move as I go forward. So again, this road, I've actually put this road on a video before, so I'm keeping to the left. I'm using the double yellow lines almost like a railway track here, so I'm keeping out of the way. This road is wide enough for the cars to come towards me if we are both sensible. So again, we can't go too fast here, so the speed limit is not relevant because we've got people coming towards us, so we need to choose the safe speed limit for the conditions of the road, and because they can fit, it's less speed for the less space, less speed. Now, this here, as we come up, I'm going to slow this video down because this car sticks out. Now, when you've got cars that stick out, that could be an issue. The car that actually sticks out may make you stop. You may be able to overtake a lot of cars. There may be 7 or 8 cars, but then one sticks out. And because it sticks out, that one might make you stop. And even if it just sticks out, just like a 1/4 of a metre more, the oncoming people have priority. So it's really important that you check to see which cars stick out a little bit because you still need to give the adequate clearance to those cars. So be very, very mindful to look down the road and have a look to see which cars stick out because they're either bigger cars like Range Rovers or Land Rovers or things like that, or maybe if they're parked badly, or maybe even just because their wheel is positioned out to the right. Because that could be, you know, even that wheel being out could make you stop. So any cars that are stuck out like this over the line slightly, the Mini's not too bad there, but he was slightly closer to the line. So we need to be very, very careful of cars stuck out, and we still need to give them adequate clearance as we pass them.